Right, this is part 2 of our video on creating a moving background for an animation. So as we said, there could be an airplane moving through the clouds. It could be a car moving down a street or somebody running down a street. Moving backgrounds can make our animations very cool. So that's what we're trying to do. In the first part of this video, we took a background, in our case, some clouds, and we sliced it into 8 pieces. So now we're going to open up Adobe Flash and we're going to create new ActionScript 3.0. And we are going to first set our stage size. So over here on the right hand side, we want to make sure that the size is 800 wide by 400 pixels high. So we have that set. And the next thing we'll do is make sure that our grid is the right size. So we're going to go to View, Grid, Edit Grid. And we want to make sure that this is 100 pixels wide by, let's say, 200 pixels in height. We'll click on OK. And then we'll go to View, Grid, and Show Grid. So now we have our stage, the correct dimensions. It's 800 wide by 400 high. We've got our 8 sections in which we're going to bring our pieces into. And we're just going to make sure that Snap to Grid is on. So that's under View, Snapping, Snap to Grid. And like so. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go File, Import, and Import to Stage. We're going to bring in each of our 8 pieces. So here's our first slice here. So we're going to bring this in and put it in place. And we're going to bring in our next piece, import to stage, slice 2. Bring that in. Hopefully it all lines up nicely. File, import to stage, slice 3. File, import, import to stage, slice 4. Now you might find that might be a little bit off here, but we'll try and adjust it when we're done here. Import to stage, slice 5. Import, slice 6. And keep doing this for all your slices. And we're up to our last slice. So it looks like so. Now, if you notice over on the right hand side, it looks like I'm not quite at 800 pixels wide. I'm going to change this from 800 to 790 just to try to get that to fit properly. So that looks good. So it looks like they're all lined up. We didn't do too bad of a job with our seam here. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to select all of this. And I want to make sure my X over here on the right is the offset. I want to make sure that that is right at 0. So I'm going to type in 0, enter. I want to make sure my Y offset is 0. It looks like it already is. So there we have our slices all put into place. So once we've done that, we've selected them all, we're going to hit F6 and insert a keyframe. So you'll see up here in the top layer, you'll see that keyframe being inserted. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go over here on the right. We've got all of our slices selected, and what we can do is we can push this over to the right by a certain number of pixels. So I want to go to X here, and I want to push it to the right 100 pixels. Hit enter, and it shifts it to the right. Then what I want to do is take my last piece here, select it only, no other piece, and I'm going to bring it to the front. I'm going to line it up. And then I'm going to just click and drag them all. Go back up to here, make sure this offset is right. So I'm going to put 0 in here and make sure that is 0. That looks good. So now that I've shifted it right, I'm going to go up here, you'll see, and I'm going to hit F6 and insert keyframe. Now they're all selected again, so I'm going to go over here to the right. And again, I want to shift this over to the right by 100 pixels. Then we'll select this one at the end, and we'll move that one to the start. Select all of them, and make sure our offset is 0. So this is 0 here, this is 0 here. So I can insert keyframe, F6. Go back up here to my X, and I'm going to push everything to the right 100 pixels. Select this one, bring it to the front, like so. Select all of them. Just make sure this X position is 0. And insert keyframe, F6. So you get the idea. You can see what I'm doing. I'm going to go back over here. Set this to 100. Push that over. Take my last piece and bring it over here. Line it up. Select them all. Make sure my offset is 0. And hit F6, insert keyframe. I'm getting close to being done all through the cycle. I'm going to push this over again. Enter. My last piece, bring it up here. Select them all. Make sure my X is equal to 0. And again, insert keyframe. Now if I just hit enter, it's hard to see if this is playing properly. So I'm going to hit Control Enter at the same time. And what we can do is we can just watch and see what this looks like. So we've created our moving background. It's a little bit fast. And to fix that, I'm going to close this here. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to select all these here. And instead of running at 24 frames per second, as we said in class, old animations, they can run at 12 frames per second. So we're going to change that. And then when I go Control Enter and hold it down, we can view it. There, it looks a little slower. It's not running quite as fast. And we have our moving background. We can see our seam a bit, but we did a not bad job of trying to fix that seam. So I'm going to close this here. And the next thing you're going to do is put in our object that's moving through the clouds. It could be a airplane, it could be a person flying through the clouds, whatever you wish. To put that person in, we're going to put them in a different layer. So you're going to have to right click layer 1, insert layer. Whatever we put in layer 2 is going to fit over top of layer 1 when we view it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go File and Import. We're going to import this to the library. And I'm going to bring in a person flying through the sky. And if I go to Window and if I go to Library, I can see that here's all of the pieces that I brought in, including my character. If I just click on my character, there's my character here. So I'm going to drag that in. And yes, this is my daughter. I thought she'd think this was funny, so I quickly edited this together. I didn't do a great job, but that's what I'm going to have for my flying object through the sky. Now, what I need to do, you can see it is selected. If I just hit Control Enter, then I get this here. Doesn't look totally realistic. I'm going to make it look a little more realistic. So I'm going to close this here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Modify, and I'm going to convert this to a symbol. So I'm going to put the title here, and I'm going to save it as a movie clip. Click on OK. And then notice we are in frame 1. So I'm going to go to frame 2. And I'm going to move her slightly up. And then I'm going to go F6, insert keyframe. Now it put them all in all of these frames. So that's not what I want. I'm going to go Control Z to go back. All of them are selected. I want to go back to this one, frame 2, and then insert keyframe into that frame. Then what I'll do is I'll bring her down a little bit and go F6, insert another keyframe. And then I'll go down a little bit more. And then F6. And then why don't I go back up a little bit. F6, insert keyframe. Then I'll go back down. F6 again, insert keyframe. And now I'm going to hit Control Enter, and we'll see what we have there. Now our animation looks a little more realistic. So through this, you've created a moving background with an object moving through. So this will be part of something that you do in your summative. I do want you to practice this, and you can post on your website. Enjoy making it, everyone. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.